Welcome. This is Kathleen Wells Show. I'm your host, Kathleen Wells. And let's see, for those of you who are not familiar with me, I had a political radio show on KCAA for 4 years in the Inland Empire. That's AM 1050. Now we're doing the new and improved Kathleen Wells Show. It's new and improved because we're not talking about politics the way you would think we would talk about it traditionally. We've learned things, we've grown, we've evolved, which we're all supposed to do, right? Every day we're supposed to learn something new, aren't we? Every day we're supposed to evolve and grow and learn. We're organisms. We change, we evolve, things are different when you get new information, right? Or do you stay stuck? So the topic of today's show is President Trump. That's the issue. President Trump, you were right. Democrats, black politicians, and black talking heads and illegal immigration have destroyed black America. That's the issue. That's the topic today. Where do we begin? Let's start with Democrats. I discussed it the last couple of shows. The issue is 60 years of voting Democrat. Blacks have loyally voted Democrat for the last 60 years. 60 years of voting Democrat. And where is black America today? We're regressing. We're going backwards economically. Not moving forward. We haven't progressed. We have some symbolic victories, some symbolic success, like electing President Obama. That's symbolism. Because black home ownership under President Obama has decreased. I read the article the other day in the Los Angeles Times about the fact that black workers in Los Angeles are in the throes of a job crisis. This is under Obama. So, this Democratic thing is not, we've got 60 years of evidence. We have 60 years of evidence, and what is the verdict? What is the verdict? Vote, presumably, black folks are sending representatives into D.C. to represent their interests. Is that right? So if you're representing our interests, if the representatives are representing our interests, my congresswoman is Karen Bass. She took Diane Watson's place. I'm here in Los Angeles. Maxine Waters is here. I don't know exactly how many black politicians are in the House of Representatives, but there are many. It's sufficient. So why are we regressing if we are electing politicians to reflect and represent our interests, the interests of black America? Why are we regressing? That's the question. So, the fact that we have been voting Democrat for 60 years, for what? Why? If we're regressing economically, why? Why do we bother to do it? Is it just symbolism to say, there's a black person in D.C.? There's a black person in the House of Representatives. Is it just symbolism because there's no substance? If it was substance, we'd be progressing. So it's undoubtedly clear. No one can argue this. It's undoubtedly clear that Democrats are not representing the interests of black Americans. They're representing the interests of Democrats. They're representing the interests of Democrats. And presumably, or obviously, the interests of Democrats conflicts with the interests of black America. So we got to stop doing it. We got to stop doing it. We got to stop doing it. You cannot vote and you're sending a message to Democrats. When President Trump said, what do black people have to lose? Some of us took such offense at that comment. I don't know why. Some of us are so thin-skinned and everything is an insult to us. I don't know how we make it through the day being that thin-skinned. I don't know how much experience you have being that thin-skinned. Oh, you know what? I have a call already. Let's take a call and see what they have to say. Hi, welcome to the Kathleen Wells Show. This is Kathleen Wells, your host.
Hi, Kathleen. Ted.
Oh, Ted! Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm so delighted to hear from you. I didn't finish my monologue. That's okay, because I love to hear from you. You're so dynamic. You've got a lot of anecdote stories that you can tell, and I'm sure the listeners are intrigued by the things that you say. So the issue for today is, or my topic today is, President Trump, you were right. Democrats, black politicians, and that's including black talking heads, and illegal immigration have failed black America. Okay, take it, Ted.
Well, finish your monologue. What you talking about?
No, I know. Hey, I will just sort of like interject or intersperse my monologue in the things that you say. I don't mind you
All
calling.
right.
I don't mind you calling in. I mean, I'm not selfish.
Sure. Well, actually, that statement is true, but it's only a symptom of what the issue is with black folks. I believe before the illegal aliens came, especially that group, we were already destroyed by the black politicians and the Democrats. That was by design from the Democrats and the socialists who now own the Democratic Party. They began the outright attack on us in 1965 with the War on Poverty and the so-called 1964 Civil Rights Act that created integration so that we could do better if we lived among white folks. And what that simply did was it destroyed the black community. Because a lot of the black folks in the ghetto or in the black neighborhoods, I remember growing up under Jim Crow, there was always those smart, up and mobile blacks in the community. They kept their yards nice and neat. They had the best car, Cadillac. They had air conditioning in their homes. They had color television sets. Because, the father had a very good job. And I'm not knocking it, but we was jealous. We was jealous of these people. And when integration came, I call these folks spooks by the door. And they ran away from us to be in the white neighborhood, to bring their children up there and go to school and make a living and start their businesses. And what that did was it left a dearth in the neighborhoods because as much as we didn't like them uppity Negroes, they were an inspiration to us. It always told us there's something better. There's something better to strive for. But when we no longer saw them around, we just kind of turned in on ourselves. And the most popular people were the preachers, the pushers, the pimps, and the politicians. And the worst of that group were the preachers. And that's why a lot of young brothers and sisters become ministers, because they recognize that they play on people's human spirit, and they play the God thing on them, and they make themselves a nice living. That's why they become politicians. It's all about the pimp game. But we were destroyed by the Democrats when the integration came, because our whole black neighborhood disintegrated. You look at South Central. Used to be all black up in there.
Right. Those neighborhoods, Inglewood, Compton, Watts, Baldwin Hills, Lamert Park, I can't think of, Lafayette Square. All these were black neighborhoods. Now,
yep. And integration, the 1964, now I'm not knocking because I supported it. I didn't know any better. The 1964 integration laws destroyed the black communities, destroyed the black neighborhoods, because those upward mobile people ran. They got away from us. And they took from us our inspiration.
Right, but it's a lot more than that because, maybe that started it, but the trajectory. In other words, the Democrats and black politicians didn't have to continue with that destruction. They could have implemented mechanisms that ameliorated, made better the situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I do. But that was never the intent of the Democratic Party. Never had that intent. I'm sorry. I got to get this call.
Oh, okay. Well, you can call back in.
No, okay. Or keep talking, and I'll come back.
Oh, okay. I'm going to keep talking. I think I'm going to keep talking, but maybe somebody else would like to call in. But what I wanted to say is that I think that Democrats, he said the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And by the way, that Civil Rights Act was also opened the door to immigration from non-European countries. So in other words, all these non-European immigrants came to America based on the efforts and energy and intent and activity and focus of Black Americans in the civil rights movement. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? And yet, opening up that door has displaced Black workers. And that is very clear when you see what's going on in Los Angeles. As I said, Google the Los Angeles Times article where it talks about Black workers are facing a job crisis. Look at the data from the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights. Look at that data. Go to your YouTube and listen to Frank Morris. He's with the Progressives for Immigration Reform. Listen to what he has to say. Go and listen to the lecture by Dr. Claude Anderson. The data is very clear. But a lot of people don't like to talk about data. Most people don't like to talk about data. And when I talk about the mainstream, when I talk about Black talking heads, I'm talking about people like Van Jones. I'm talking about people like Van Jones and Charles Blow. Do you remember during the presidential campaign when Trump won? When President Trump won, what was the thing that Van Jones said on CNN? He said that tonight we are witnessing a white lash. I think I got it right. I think that's how he termed it, a white lash. Do you see that emotionalism there? They never talk about data. And in fact, today I saw a discussion that one of the Black commentators, her name is Angela Rye, on CNN, had with Joe Walsh, who's a conservative radio host. She called him a bigot. Now,
wow.
You see. Oh, you're listening. Oh, you're back, Ted?
Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Well, she called him a bigot, and I watched her during the 2016 campaign. In fact, I tweeted her, and I asked her something specifically. Probably I would say, well, what about illegal immigration? Some data question I probably asked her, and she immediately blocked me. So they're not interested in any kind of serious conversation. What they're interested in is these hysterics, this sort of back talk, this sort of like what you see in the reality shows, this kind of drama, this hysterical, emotional laden kind of we're talking about politics, and they're like emoting. Politics is supposed to be about logic and reason, not emotions, not emoting. It's like Angela Rice sort of has that. I'm getting ready to see her like, what is that expression? Put her hands on her hips, and talk like those girls on the hip hop of Atlanta. Because that's the kind of drama that she brings to CNN, and that lets you know what those folks, liberals, think about Black folks. Because there are Black people who can talk intelligently without all the emotion, that can bring you data. One of them is Frank Morris. Another is Dr. Claude Anderson, who can talk about these issues, bringing forth data, not emotion, not mere character assassination, not mere labeling and name calling like we're on the schoolyard at 13 years old. But that's what Angela Rye and all those other girls give you, is that back talk stuff. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and they're doing a disservice to Black America. You're back, Ted?
And I'm listening to what you're saying, and the reason why people on the left resort to hollering and name calling, because they know they don't have a logical reason for their position. So they're hoping that when they start calling us names, that we will cower and submit and say, oh, I'm not a racist, oh, I'm not a bigot, and we take the defensive posture. And unfortunately, we don't know how to respond to that stuff. And they keep beating us on that level.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, they get the people that don't know how to respond, because I think some people would know how to respond. You just turn it back on. No, you're the bigot, because we've had 60 years of Black folks voting Democrat, and we're regressing economically. You can't get a better definition of systematic racism than that.
That's right. Right, because, see, Hillary Clinton used to say systemic racism, but they forget, well, not they, but people forget because they don't know the truth. Systemic racism came from 245 years of chattel slavery, 100 years of Jim Crow, and that was all by the Democrats.
And that was all by the Democrats. That's why I'm saying you turn it right back on. No, Joe Walsh should say, no, you're the bigot. See, and this is another thing that I want to talk about. And in fact, what was it? I was on Facebook and someone was saying, well, Maxine Waters, she goes up against the white supremacists, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, Maxine Waters is a white supremacist because she supports illegal immigration. You see what I'm saying? It's not these superficial things that determine what your label should be. You go deep. If you're supporting illegal immigration, you're the white supremacist, Maxine Waters, not who you're. Do you understand what I'm saying, Ted? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. In fact, the Hispanic Latinos, other than the Negroids, they consider themselves Caucasian. They're white people. There's white people speak Spanish, who have the Spanish culture. That's all. And she up there supporting them.
She's supporting it. She's supporting it. So and it's crushing Black America, illegal immigration. The data is clear. You can go anywhere. Dr. Claude Anderson, you can see that data, right?
Absolutely. But, again, it goes back with the original conversation. The Democrats never planned to do anything right with us. That whole war on poverty was designed to drive the black man out of his home and designed to weaken and emaciate the black man to the point to where you got the black man, a lot of young kids walking around here with their pants hanging out their butts. What's that saying to you? We're defeated people. That's what the Democrats want. You got to remember something. The Democrats started the racist attack against Republicans in 1964, and they saw that it worked. And no matter what Republican runs for president, the Democrats always lead off that they are racist, when it was the Republicans that freed us from slavery from the Democrats.
Yeah, but... okay, go ahead.
Unfortunately, the Republicans, even the black Republicans, don't have enough wits about themselves to tell the truth because they're afraid to tell the truth about who did what to who with slavery. Black people, with all of our issues, will want to be Republican, and consequently will expect Republicans to do something for our state, and the Republicans don't know what to do about black folks' problems. Even conservative Republican blacks, they don't know what to do about black folks' problems. All they can do is run around telling white conservatives how bad black folks are in the inner city.
Yeah, like that Jesse Peterson. And then when I look at Fox News and when they talk about illegal immigration, on any station when they talk about illegal immigration, they never discuss its adverse economic impact on black America. They never discuss it. That is something that they need to bring up to shut that door down.
What's that guy's name? Juan Williams? He's a waste of time. So tempted, because he's about the dumbest man on television. And he always had that look on his face like, I don't get it. And if you ever watch the 5, the 4, they be speaking code behind his back to his face. They be speaking code, but look how dumb this. And he represents black people. And I've been tempted to write Fox a letter in protest and say, why are y'all paying that man to be dumb? Because he reflects us, and I think that's rather racist on Fox's part.
Well, I mean, but all the black talking heads, and I included this in my topic in terms of failing black America, the Democrats, the black politicians, the black preachers, the black talking heads, and illegal immigration have failed black America. All of the black talking heads on conservative stations, it's the most disappointing thing because the evidence is so clear and the data is so clear. Why don't they have Dr. Claude Anderson on the show? Why don't they have Frank Morris on the show? Why don't they have you on the show? People who can talk about the substance, people who can talk about the data. Why not?
Because they're afraid of black people. Not afraid of it in a racist sort of sense, but afraid that they don't know what to do about black people's problems with black people. That's what they're afraid of. When they see black wealthy people and celebrities and so forth running away from the niggers, they figure if they're running from the niggers, why should we go up and try and fool with these people? We can't help them. And that's why Republicans abandoned us back in 1877. They gave us back to the Democrats in exchange for the White House because they recognize we cannot fix these people. They have an illness that has nothing to do with us white folks, and we can't take no more chances with them. And that has been the Republican Party's position ever since that time. And I had Ted Cruz guy admitted to me, his chief deputy, and Stephen King's guy admitted to me that they feel that we are lost people and they don't want us in their ranks because we'll be a drain on them.
Well,
you understand?
Well, that's depressing. That's depressing. That's depressing.
Well, that's the truth. It is. Think about it. Think about all the hip hop artists and athletes. They don't come back to the hood. They may drop a check off every now and then, but they don't deal with us. They don't want to be around us. They're embarrassed of us.
Well, I mean, that's depressing.
Yeah, but it's a real fact of what we're dealing with. You know, you got cancer. Come on, doctor, tell me the truth. Now, don't beat around the bush. Am I going to make it or what? Well, it's very bad, but you know what? We have remedies.
Well, what's the remedy then? I mean, giving that prognosis, I can't imagine anything. We're so bad off. No one wants to be around us. It's fatal. So
it's true.
What's the remedy then? What's the remedy?
Black folks got to get honest about how we got here in America. We got to get honest about it. We got to stop lying. Got to stop pretending that we're something that we're not. We got to face the facts that Muslims and black folks put our ancestors on them slave ships and sold us to whites and Jews and Christians and Americans and Europeans. That's what we got to admit, that we were part of that. And until we come out of denial, there's nothing anybody can do for us. We're out of our minds. That's why we're mad. We're mad. We don't know why we're mad. You got rich-ass rappers running around here with bling-bling in their mouth. They're still mad. They're still mad. They're mad at not the white man, because they go live amongst the white man. Look at that guy, Reverend Wright, Obama's master. He lives up in a white neighborhood, gated community. But he damned white people in front of black folks. And black folks ate it up. And then he go home to his white neighborhood. We are mad at ourselves. We're mad for what we did to ourselves. You know, we want to blame somebody else for the mistake we made upon ourselves. And a person, as you know, a person in denial, they're sick all the time, they're angry, they're antisocial, they got headaches. But the day that they face themselves in the mirror, as it were, and admit the ugly, ugly, repulsive thing they did to themselves, that's when the headaches start going away. And the neck pains and the, that stress you get in the back of your neck, across your shoulder, all that stuff goes away. Kidneys straighten up. The blood pressure comes down because we're not living a lie no more. We're free.
Wait. You know for certain, with 100% certainty, that Africans sold Africans. Because listen, I've read conflicting or contradictory accounts. Go ahead.
Oh, please.
Well, no, I've read things like, I'm paraphrasing here. I'm trying to tap my memory. I can't remember, but I've read things like there were wars. There was sort of there was an indentured type servant relationship where people were like a familiar, like a family type relationship. There were tribal wars, but yet people were a part of the family. And then, these African leaders or kings or whatever of certain tribes were sort of like tricked into or persuaded into selling, thinking, not knowing that we were going off into chattel slavery. Something to that. I'm paraphrasing, but I can't remember exactly. But the account was definitely different from what you're giving now.
Of course. That's called the denial. That's the denial. That's what's wrong with us. That very philosophy right there. They don't want to admit the truth of what was really going on. Africa's brutal. Look at them today over there. Them people don't get along with each other. Tribe against tribe, nation against nation. Been going for a long time. They don't care what color you are. Sell you out just as big as they don't care. That's a fact. Look at Africa. They so messed up right now, hating each other. China is taking over Africa. China sees the weakness. We don't like each other. We've been at war with each other since antiquity times. We ain't no different than white Europeans or yellow Asians or brown Indians in India or red Indians in America. Before the white man showed up on any of those shores in America, Africa, Asia, Australia, all of them colored people was at war with each other. That's how the Romans, the white Italian Romans, were able to conquer the world, because they went to a region where people hated one another. They destroyed them. You see,
Right.
and as long as we keep making up excuses for our situation and not taking responsibility for it, we ain't gonna never get up. And that's by design. The Democrats, the socialists, feed that stuff through our black scholars. They get paid well to write these books, like Eric Dyson Clay, and that other brother over there in New York looks like a with all that hair on his head.
Cornel West.
And Tavis Smiley and all them, and what's that guy's name? Dr. Ron Lamont Hill. All them cats are socialist agents. They paid, and they'll push that lie. They'll push that lie. Which, if you notice, Kathleen, if you keep making up excuses in your life, you cannot progress. You can't get any friction. As long as you keep making up excuses why you're not doing well. No, you're not doing well because you're not applying yourself. You're not taking responsibility for yourself. No boxer come out of the ring at this guy's ass whooped and said, well, you know, he was better trained. He had more money. Or he had bigger fans out there, and the referee was on his side. No, that boxer said, you know, I got my ass whooped tonight, but I'm going to work harder because I got a rematch I'm going to take him next time out. I'm taking responsibility. He didn't knock me out. I knocked myself out. Mm-hmm. That's when we get power.
So, in other words, these Van Jones and Angela Wright and Joanne Reed and Michael Eric Dyson and Cornel West and Mark Lamont Hill, you think they realize what's going on, or is it like they're in denial?
They know. They got lollipops stuck up their butts, and they like it. But Malcolm used to call them Negroes with lollipops stuck up their butts. They're happy. They don't think about. That's why I keep saying, folks, it's not about skin color. It's not about black power. It's not about Afrocentralism. It's about knowing who you are in the Constitution of the United States via the 14th Amendment and the Civil Rights Act of 1866. That's who you are. You're not there because of your skin color. You are there because of the unique experience by which these immigrants brought us into this country and changed to serve immigrants. Yes, it's an immigrant nation built on the back of chattel slaves.
So let's talk about the 14th Amendment. Go into detail about how that applies and makes black Americans, who are the direct descendants of slaves, how that makes us, as you term it, super citizens. Talk about that.
What you got to do, folks, I want you to go to my website. It's called THE 14th, digital number 1, digital 4, TH.US, the 14th.US. What that is, I'm on video there. I have like 23, 4, 5, 10 minutes sometimes, video chats on the 14th Amendment explaining what it is and how powerful that is to us. And I don't even mention immigration, illegal immigration, hardly at all in it because it's not an antithesis. It's not a reactionary teaching. It's a proactive teaching. That if the 14th Amendment had been enforced according to the constitutional law, we wouldn't have all this trouble that we're having today. But they gave up on us back, as I said, back in 1877. And what we got to do now on our own is go back and read the 14th Amendment and study it. We got to read the parent of the 14th Amendment. The parent of the 14th Amendment is the Civil Rights Act of 1866, the very first Civil Rights Act of the United States of America. It's on this act that all other Civil Rights Acts are built. You follow me?
Yeah.
Let me give you a history. Let me give you a little history. When the Congress, which were Republicans, following what Abraham Lincoln left behind for them to do, they wrote a Civil Rights Act to protect us because we were no longer slaves. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery. So the question was, then who are these people? Then they said, well, we better make them citizens. So they came up with this act, and it's set in 10 specific sections explaining how the act should work. And then the funny thing about it, Section 1 identifies the slaves as the people who are to receive now a citizenship as is enjoyed by white citizens. Then Section 2 says any government official that violates Section 1 is to be arrested, tried, if found guilty, punished. It goes on to explain how we have at our disposal the district courts, the circuit courts, commissions that are supposed to be created to protect us. The President of the United States is supposed to commission individuals with power to arrest any government official that violates black people's rights. It talks about how the President and even his surrogates can actually call down the United States military against any government official that refuses to live up to the law. It talks about the U.S. Supreme Court saying that if all else fails, you have appeal to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court doesn't decide whether this is or isn't for black people. The Supreme Court says there is no argument here. There is no argument here. These people are designated by the Constitution of the United States, not because of their skin color or minority status or because they're gay or whatever. It is because of the unique experience by which they were brought into this country against their will, and we have built this mighty nation on these people's backs. So therefore, it is incumbent upon us to empower these people to defend themselves. So therefore, what happened then was that as they passed the law in Congress, it was just an act. It was not an amendment. It was an act. It wasn't even in the Constitution. It was an act. They began to realize, you know what? We better do something about this because a future generation of Congress may want to repeal, like they want to repeal Obamacare. You can repeal congressional acts. So what they decided was, we have got to get this into the Constitution, and we'll do it by creating an amendment, hence the 14th Amendment.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We were codified. The act was codified into the Constitution via the 14th Amendment.
Well, I mean, you said a mouthful there, and that's the kind of information that we need our black talking heads. Many of them are lawyers or have law degrees. I think Angela Rye has a law degree. I know Van Jones has a law degree. Why aren't they talking about this substantial, substantive information?
Because they are under the control of their socialist masters. Massa sees to it. They eat well, have nice cars. They can be on television espousing their philosophy. They get to speak at events and did a toast of cocktail parties. Them niggas, and they got, I take that word back. They're not niggas. They don't deserve that title. They ain't gonna be niggas. I don't know what they are, but these people are gone. They have no feelings for us. One time, I was on Michael J. Tyson's radio show.
His name is Michael Eric Dyson.
Oh, what his name is? I was on his show, and I was nailing him on the illegal immigration thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was pushing back at me. Man, his people called up. One guy called and said, Michael, I'm surprised at you. Brother, I've been listening to you for years. What this man is telling you is truth. How you going to support that? It's destroying our people. He asked me to come back on again, and I said, okay, I'll come on if you promise to come to Los Angeles, and I'll take you down to the border and show you what's going on. And he wouldn't do that. And when he called me to come on the show again, he said, no, I'm not coming on your show. I should have went on anyway. But see, those guys got it made.
But let me ask you, because I tweeted Michael Eric Dyson about the illegal immigration thing, and he never responds. So let me ask you, when you were on his show, what was he pushing back with? What information was he able to push back with? Because facts are facts.
Basically, these people suffer too. We black folks suffer. We should know what suffering is about. And we should be able to share with our brown brothers. You know, the brown-black coalition. We got to stand united against the white man. And all along, the white man paying him to deceive us. And that bull. They believe me, my sister, they know better. They know better. Barack Obama knew all this stuff. Every top-level Republican knows this stuff. Every top-level Democrat knows it. It's the lumpen proletariat, us, the dumb people out here that don't know what's going on. Like you said earlier, we are emotional reactionary people. It's like someone, let's say a little black kid gets killed by the police in LAPD in South Central. Okay, every black activist in the community and wannabe come together and have news conferences, the press is out there. This is going about 2 weeks. Start a movement. About 3-4 weeks later, ain't nobody around no more. They forgot all about it. Except for handful of folks trying to keep the legacy alive. Every single time. That's why they don't fear us no more. Because we'll puff up, but we ain't gonna bust a grape.
That's so sad. It's so sad. It's so sad. So, yeah, I hope, I don't know what listeners I have out there because when I'm on when I have a caller, I can't see if anyone's listening. But I hope people will share this because I'm calling out Joanne Reed, Michael Eric Dyson, Van Jones, Angela Rye, Maxine Waters. Oh, the entire John. I'm calling them out.
Hey, I got a guy. There's a guy called up. He's on the live chat, and dude named James Brown. He said,
"Oh, you can see it. Why? Because let me tell you, Ted. When I'm on when I've got a call, when I'm on Skype, I can't see the live chat. So why don't you read some of the? Since you can see it, why don't you read it to me?"
That's a cat named James Brown.
Right.
Let me see. He says, Van Jones is a blubbering idiot. He sure got that right. And he says, yep, he's talking about me. He's exactly right. He says, actually, Trump has done specifically what Trump has done specifically discusses the impact of illegal immigration upon African Americans. He's absolutely right about that. Then he says, I agree with your call about Juan Williams. So everybody knows Juan Williams is a prop up. He's about the dumbest thing on television. And sometimes I have to calm down because I have to realize, you know what? I think they're paying that man to be stupid. I think they're paying him to be, because it's hard to believe that Juan Williams is that stupid.
Well,
he's an educated young man.
Well, they're all educated. They're all educated.
So, somebody paying him to be stupid. But anyway, so the 14th Amendment got codified, or rather the act got codified into the 14th Amendment. And then off the 14th Amendment came, they said, well, now they're citizens, we got to give them the right to vote. And they created the 15th Amendment, giving us the power to control government. By the way, folks, why was Abraham Lincoln assassinated by that Democrat John Wilkes Booth? He didn't kill Lincoln because he set the slaves free or ended slavery. He didn't kill Lincoln because Lincoln wanted to give us citizenship. He killed Lincoln because Lincoln said, I'm going to give the Negroes the right to vote. He said, that's enough. We got to kill him. At first, they want to kidnap Lincoln, but then they realized, no, we got to kill this man. Let me grab this, please. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. I mean, come on, Ted. You're messing up my radio show. Come on, man. You're taking phone calls and everything else. And he's like, let me grab the phone. Can you imagine? He's on my show, grab it. Have you ever heard of such a thing? You know, that's like, let me tell you, we do things differently, okay? You got to admit it, right? So there's a taco place called Worldwide Tacos in Los Angeles. It's owned by a black man. You know, I love them. Everyone loves those tacos. But the kicker is you have to wait an hour before you can get your taco. In other words, you go in, you make your order, and then you come home, and then they call you when your taco is ready. So this is how we do things differently. You got to admit it, right? Ted is on my show, being a radio guest, as a guest on my show, talking, and he's like, oh, I got to take this phone call. Have you ever heard of such a thing? I mean, come on, let's be real. I mean, Ted, that is like so tacky, man. You got to admit it. Come on.
Listen, give me a break, because see what's happening. I'm getting phone calls to speak now. People want to hear what I got to say across the country and things, and I don't want to miss these calls. I got to be on a call tomorrow morning, a nationwide radio interview with this guy named Bill Martinez, and they want to know that Ted Hayes is saying some stuff out there, black and white. Finally, the Lord is giving me some grip. Hey, but James Brown says, look what James Brown says. He says, I agree with the call about Juan Williams. He goes, yep. And then he says, Juan Williams plays the dunce. Lots of laugh. You go, James Brown. Hey, James Brown, I like what you're doing, brother, because it makes me feel like I'm not alone.
No, and that's the important thing that I want to press here, is that there are those of us black folks who are aware of what's going down. And we need a platform to speak about it. We need a platform to get this, because let me tell you, every black talking head on TV, even on radio, is messing it up, making it worse, pushing us further back, because they're all from illegal immigration. Talk to me about this anchor baby business, Ted.
That's great because see what happened. If you have a tool or a toy or a gift sitting in front of you, if you don't grab that tool, toy, or gift, other people will do it. It's like if you don't know who you are, other people will define you. See, most of it, if you ask the average American black U.S. citizen, what is the 14th Amendment? Most cannot tell you. Some say, what freedom from slavery? I don't know, brother. What is it? And I say, don't be upset. I'm not calling you stupid, but that's not your fault. It's just what it is. We don't know. See, the Hispanic La Raza people tell us this. One guy, a TV guy, told me to my face. He said, look, you blacks, you had your chance with the white man with civil rights, and you blew your chance with the white man with civil rights. Now it's our turn to use civil rights with the white man. That's the way they think, y'all. Why do they think that way? Because we're not using it. You know how the proverb goes. You don't use it, you lose it. And they will defend the 14th Amendment because some people, some white folks, some conservatives, they want to get rid of the 14th Amendment because the illegal alien, or rather the La Raza, they're saying that when a woman, primarily from Hispanic countries, coming to the United States illegally, gets pregnant or comes pregnant and has that baby within the geophysical boundaries, borders of the United States of America, based on the 14th Amendment, Section 1, that child is an automatic United States citizen, has all the rights and benefits and privileges that belongs to us. That's what they do. See, now you're talking about me getting phone calls.
No, we gotta have.
Goes round, young lady.
No, Ted. We gotta have a professional show. Let me tell you, when I had a very professional show at KCAA, I can't talk about Angela Rye and then not be professional myself. That's like, I'm a hypocrite, right?
No, you're not a hypocrite because what you're doing is you're building something. You're being relaxed. You're creating a radio program that's not all uptight, but people can express themselves. You're having a conversation. And I'm sure as you get going down the road more, it'll tighten up when you get some engineers and people can, because you can't handle everything in there by yourself. The phone calls, the reading of the chat line. And you need a guy like me to be your sidekick.
Yes, you're a very good sidekick. I'm the straight woman, right?
Yes, ma'am. You're the straight one. I'm the guy that runs around in circles and carry on.
So
hey, here's James Brown again. Here's James Brown.
We love James Brown.
James Brown. James Brown says actually a deliberate misinterpretation of the 14th Amendment. Now that sounds like a brother that's been doing some studying.
That's right.
And because we don't know what he and I and you know, these foreigners come in and take our stuff. Hey, y'all, did you know that there's some hotels over here on Olympic Boulevard in Hollywood or in L.A., and Asian women from Korea, Japan, China, wherever they're from, they come here pregnant. You have babies.
Yep.
And then they go home with that baby's birth certificate, U.S. citizen.
That's right. That's
our stuff they're taking, y'all.
They're thieves. But hey, you know what? If like you said, if you don't use it, you lose it. So the issue is, you think Trump is going to do something about it?
If we stay on him, yeah, we stay on him. But you got to remember, he's up against a lot of pressure. He's only a man. He's only human. And if we do not get this information into him, make sure he knows what he's talking about, he can't win. There's no way he's going to win. And I told him so in an open letter. I said, sir, if you don't really understand the matter of the 14th Amendment and the moral power that goes with it, it doesn't matter if you win the presidency. This is why he was elected. I said, it doesn't matter if you win the presidency. You will still lose the nation, and it will happen on your watch if you don't get this right. This is the last time, America. Look, here's James Brown. The SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States, ruled in 1884 that the 14th Amendment only applies to freed slaves and their descendants. Brother talks just like me. He talks like me. You know why? He's reading the same information that I'm reading and all the other scholars are reading, but unlike James Brown and me and you, they don't want to tell the truth.
Well, then that's actually diabolical. That's
It is
diabolical because you have black folks who have a platform in the media preaching a lie.
Yes.
And
They know it's a lie.
destroying their own.
It reminds me of a prince, a crown prince. He's living the life of a pauper because he's got amnesia. Somebody hit him on the head, and he's running around, don't know who he is. He's out there begging in the street, sleeping in the street, don't realize he's a crown prince. And everybody around him knows he's a crown prince. You know, the people who put him out there, and they ain't going to tell him. They're going to wake him up. But one day the crown prince wakes up, and he realizes, I'm the crown prince. And he goes in the house and cleans house. The Republican Party, the Republicans of 1854, 1856, came into existence specifically for black people, to free us from slavery, to empower us, and to guard the nation by protecting us as long as the nation shall live. Republicans got no business dealing with anything but us. Lincoln made his whole cabinet subjugated under this idea that we must protect and defend these people, because in doing so, we defend the Constitution and we defend the sanctity of the Union. Essentially, when you read the act, you realize that black people are the living treasure. We are the national treasure of the United States of America. Well, it's not gold.
Wasn't Abraham Lincoln a Whig? Wasn't he a Whig?
Yeah, he was in a Whig with a wig and free soilers, all that kind of mixed up, and they realized that they all felt the same thing, along with the Quakers, the abolitionists, the Anabaptists, and they decided, the only way we're going to stop these Democrats from destroying the country through slavery, we're going to have to come together, build our own party, and they did so in 1854 and 1856, and that is the only job Republicans have. I told Mr. Trump in an open letter, I said to him, when Abraham Lincoln died, the only thing on his mind was black people, their freedom from slavery, their empowerment as a citizen, and the voting rights. I said, Mr. Trump, if you ain't got that in your head, you're not Lincoln. You're not Lincoln. You can't be Lincoln. You a carbon copy or something, but you're not Lincoln. And don't play with it. I told him, don't play with it.
Well, what are we gonna do? We got to do something? How are we gonna get these? How are we gonna get an alternative narrative out to the people? So they
doing exactly what you're doing, Kathleen Wells. You're creating a platform. You're learning these things. I'm teaching these things, and the more people who understand these matters, the better off they're going. That's when we start getting power. That's when the illegal aliens, the Muslims, everybody start backing up off of us, because the crown prince and princess is waking up. They have to back off because we have the military on our side. According to the law, we have the military if we need it.
Yeah, and in the media, basically, we're invisible. Like when they're talking about illegal immigration, because I listen, they never mention black Americans, the descendants of slaves, which is 98% of us, and they never talk about the 14th Amendment. Have you noticed that?
Yes, I noticed that. Because they don't want to wake up the crown prince. This house, called Republican, that's our house. The Republican House is the guardian of the Republic. You see, that's why Abraham Lincoln recognized we have got to end slavery and do right according to the Declaration of Independence, because if we don't, we will lose the Republic. He fought for years, though he was against slavery. He said, I'm fighting this war not to free a slave or to keep a slave. My job is to save the Union. But over time, he came to realize the only way I'm going to save the Union is by ending slavery, hence the Emancipation Proclamation. Most people don't know that. They don't know that. They don't know that.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
And as I teach this 14th Amendment lesson to people, especially black people, they change. They change. They start making sense to them now that they have power through their citizenship. You ain't got no power in Africa. Leave that Afrocentricism alone. Leave that black power stuff alone. That black economics, all that old mess. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. You know, Jews can do that. Hispanics can do that. Polish can do that. We can't do that. We have to do something different than that. We're not a monogamous people. We are not a monotheistic people. When I say monogamous, I mean we are not a one-minded people. We come from different nations in West and Central Africa. We come from the most language complex region on the planet. So we are very complex people. So what we got to do to define the water we came through in the Middle Passage, we got to recognize this fact and find the glue that will unite us. And the glue that unites us is that 14th Amendment. And see, when these people say, you know, they come in and have a baby's a child, no. The 14th Amendment rests on the back of the 13th Amendment. Without the 13th Amendment, there is no 14th Amendment. Without the 14th Amendment, there's no 15th Amendment. So when they come in saying that that child's a baby, the question comes back, did that child come through the 13th Amendment? Did that child come on the slave ship? No, they did not. Therefore, you got no quarter here. If you want that baby to be a U.S. citizen, you go around to the front door, to the Constitutional Article 1, Section 8. That's for people who come to this country willingly, legally or illegally. Y'all go to the front door. The 14th Amendment is the backdoor entrance into the United States citizenship. And it's not just a mere backdoor, like I said. It's more powerful than the people who go through the front door. Why? Because of our unique experience. We never asked to be here. They brought us here to serve immigrants. They did it on our back. If you take away chattel slavery, you ain't got no United States. You ain't got no computers. You ain't got no satellites leaving the solar system. You ain't got nothing. You ain't got no suits, because the whole idea of suits came from America. You see, we black folks have got to start learning to appreciate ourselves. The day we begin to appreciate ourselves is the day that everybody else respects us.
Now that's
very powerful. Said to me.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Of course you do. Everybody agrees with that. A very powerful Hispanic Latino politician said to me one day, we were friends, been friends for years, and we were having this conversation at my office at Dome Village. And he got frustrated. He got by his seat and walked around the table all the time, looking me dead in my eyes. He leaned into my face, Kathleen. He said, Ted, if black people don't respect and care about black people, why should anybody else care and respect y'all? And the bodyguard that came with him was black. We just looked at each other and we couldn't say nothing, man. Of course, he would never publicly, because Maxine and them would tear him a new a-hole.
No, I know that's true. I've always said that. When you see on this, reality shows, Hip Hop Atlanta, the women call themselves the B word. The rappers call themselves the N word. We kill each other. They don't understand. I don't know why they can't get this simple concept. It's a simple concept. If you don't respect yourself, no one will respect you. And degrading yourself, calling yourself names, calling yourself a dog. Snoop. Can you imagine the man names himself Snoop Dogg?
I know, but see, again, you know where that's coming from. That's by design. By the way, what's going to change it is now we got another Brown on the line here, on the chat line. It's this guy, Demetrius Brown. He said, man, I tell you, his guy's good. And then the other guy, and then James Brown comes back with every anchor baby within the U.S. is living a scam being perpetrated on the U.S. taxpayer. He's absolutely right. And Demetrius said, this guy talks like Dick Gregory. I actually know Dick Gregory a little bit. We know each other, man. I've known Dick Gregory over the years. Everywhere I go, people say, you know who you look like? I said, don't you start. Don't you start. Dick Gregory. I said, God, dog. I said, don't you start. I was in Australia one time, man, leaving Australia in the terminal, going through the customs and everything, and the lady said to me, Mr. Gregory, I hope you enjoyed your stay in Australia. I said, lady, you got to quit now. So I'm gonna call Dick Gregory one day and say, hey, look, man, you got to start paying me.
Well, you
Because
know,
I'm out there
I've interviewed Dick Gregory quite a few times.
I know, I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah.
And maybe we should get him on again.
Yeah, I'm gonna have him on again. I'm gonna do a lot of interviews. I'm gonna have a lot of guests. I'm back on the radio now. The Kathleen Wells Show, the new and improved Kathleen Wells Show. Hey, it's happening, folks. And you know, I love doing radio. I took a hiatus, but you know, this has been a very dramatic, provocative time, and I'm glad I took that break because now I've come back and I got to tell you the truth. I know that Donald Trump. Let's hope. I got to tell you, no other presidential candidate. Listen, Hillary Clinton wasn't saying anything. She wasn't saying anything. Just repeat. I don't know how these people even went for that nothingness. She said nothing, okay? But the things that Donald Trump said, they were new. You never heard it before. People were thinking it, you know. They were thinking these things, and he said them. He brought to the table issues that were never thought of before, that were never said before in public. So now we, black folks, have to take the ball and run with it. But you know what?
I'm looking at these guys, the Brown brothers here, James and Demetrius. You know, it's guys like that. I think as guys like me speak up more and you allow this opportunity, it's going to encourage young brothers like that to start talking to the other young brothers. Because a lot of cats don't want to talk about it because they're afraid that, oh, man, like Donald Trump, oh, man, and then they're going to jump on him. But I think that as I continue, our move continues, black folks going to look up and start realizing, you know what, them people making sense over there. We're going to go ahead and start standing up, too. I believe that everybody, black folks in L.A., especially South Central, they know now what's going on. We tried to warn them years ago, they didn't want to hear it. But now they know, but they can't stand up. Because if they stand up, they don't have an NACP. There's no organized body politic that could defend them. Like in the school system. If you're a teacher in the LA Unified School District and you say, I have some questions about immigration, you know that they will accuse you of being a racist. They will deny you promotion, if not actually fire you. So black teachers have to keep their mouths shut. We're only down to like maybe 14 male black principals. They're getting rid of them. You see, so they will. If there was a group of us standing up together, guess what? I bet you black folks all over the city, all country will stand up, and that's what LaRaza is afraid of.
We gotta stand up. We gotta do it. I'm not willing to just lay down and die and let this happen.
Check out James Brown. Check out James Brown. James Brown says the NAACP is advocating for illegal aliens. He's absolutely right. He says they have completely sold out on African Americans. That brother's right on, man. A freak on. And I bet you some more brothers out there just like, hey, James, man, you and Demetrius, man, y'all need to go to my website, the14thAmendment.us, look at that stuff, look at those videos. Y'all start talking to some of your homies quietly about this. And tell them about the Kathleen show. Tell them to come on here, man. And the more we start talking to each other, you'll see we'll get strong. They are so afraid that we black folks are going to wake up. They don't know what to do. That's why they hate me in L.A. They said, Ted Hayes will never, ever have another public rally. Not in this town, because we're going to come and shut him down. Listen. We will come together with other black conservatives to start a black pact. Now the brothers, see, Demetrius is thinking. See, people thinking. We need to come together and build our own body politic. The day we do that, y'all, hey, it's home. We're going home. It's done. It's done. It's over.
Yeah. I believe you. Well, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to provide a platform. Yvette Carnell has a great show. She's talking some black politics truth to people.
She's great.
Yeah, she's talking, and in fact, you were supposed to be on her show. She's talking some truth to black folks. We're trying. We're doing our job. We got to get this information to President Trump because the people, the black folks who are in the mainstream media do not reflect, do not represent, neither do the black politicians, do not reflect, do not represent black Americans. The majority of black Americans, they do not represent us. They need to get off the air.
Well, we're going to run them off. Demetrius chatted in. He said, Yvette is the truth. My brother knows. She knows. See, this is, see what you're doing, Kathleen? You and Yvette, you guys are stirring things up. I never knew about Demetrius Brown. I never knew about James Brown. I don't know if they're brothers or just got the same common name and came from the same plantation. I don't know. I knock them because I come from the Hayes plantation, right? So what's happening is we're finding each other. We're groping in the dark, and now we're starting to find each other. And that's what's going to make all the difference in the world now.
Well, hey, Ted, I know those guys. They're on my Facebook page. There's a group of us on the Facebook page. We're all like a collective. We're all against illegal immigration. We're trying to educate these folks about what's going on, what's it about. I always tell them, look at the report by the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights, Peter Kawasnow. Listen to the lecture by Dr. Clyde Anderson. You'll be surprised how many black folks give you resistance to this information. They don't want to hear it. They're know-it-alls. They have all the answers. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear what's really going down because the truth lies in the data, not your opinion.
Hey, I'm going to say about that. Shoot, it ran away from me. But the Demetrius just replied, me and James argue a lot on Facebook, and then James comes back, get in daily drag on debates on Facebook. But people, they're Harriet Tubman, for example, building on what you just said about people don't want to know.
Yeah.
Harriet Tubman carried a gun with her, not to shoot the white dude. She carried the gun to shoot a slave that would want to give up and go back. She said, before I let you go back to slavery, I'll kill you first. She had to muscle them people out. Because you got to remember, chattel slavery became an institution, like baseball, like, ice cream. And it kind of got inscribed on our DNA walls. So it becomes rote for us to accept our condition. You see?
Yeah.
And so that's what we're dealing with. They say the way you train an elephant, when he's little, you peg him to the ground, and he can't get away. And after a while, you could just, if he wanted to, he could pull the peg up. He doesn't realize he has the power to free himself because his mind has been directed around that peg. And that's us as a people. We're going to get free, y'all. We are going to get free. And it will come as a shock to a lot of us, but we're going to get free from all this. God's not going to, well, I believe it. We're going to get free from all this.
Yeah, we shall overcome. It's someday. What is that day? Say, the thing that I want to, hey, this is the thing that I want to know. When, these civil rights leaders, Martin Luther King, Malcolm, all the civil rights folks, did they know that getting black folks to vote Democrat was a losing proposition? Did they know that?
No, they did not. They got Malcolm X, y'all, if you go back and check him out, I remember when he said this when I was a teen. He said that when he saw Martin Luther King and Roy Wilkins and John Lewis and all them cats going to the White House to organize the 1963 Civil Rights March, he said, now how in the world you going to get the very devils who held you as slaves, who got all these Jim Crow laws on you that y'all going to be marching about, how you going to organize a civil rights march of any kind of effectiveness? He said, y'all had the wool pulled over your eyes, you've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled, and 52 years later, Malcolm X prophecy came to pass.
Well, were they going to the White? Was there a Democrat or Republican in office when they went to the White House?
John F. Kennedy.
Oh, a Democrat.
Lyndon Johnson, Robert, all them cats, they bamboozled us. See, the problem that King and them had was, I said from the beginning of the conversation, black people have problems with black people. Ain't got nothing to do with white folks or America. Our problems deep within our soul happen on the continent. That's the ground zero. And because we don't know how to fix that, when King tried to go live in Chicago, he stayed there for about 3 weeks. He had to get up out of there. People shooting, all fussing, fighting, drinking. They got out of there because they don't know. King was not. He was black, but he wasn't poor. He don't know what people in the ghetto live like. He don't know no ghetto people. So he tried. He failed. So when the socialists who have been tracking us since 1850, and they put out a document in the 1930s said that we will take the United States down to the Negroes. We'll play on slavery. We'll play on Jim Crow thing, and we'll become friends with them. And one day they're going to ask us for help. That's when we tell them about our socialist policies. And so when Lyndon Johnson and them said, okay, niggers, you made your point. You had your big civil rights march. You won a civil rights law. You passed that. Now what y'all want? What y'all niggers want us to do for y'all? And King and them didn't know what to do. So the socialist said, I got an idea. We'll give them food stamps. We'll give them health care, child care, teen posts, jobs, CETA. We'll take housing. We'll do all that for you, okay? And what that was, it was designed to cripple you. If you don't use your brain and use your muscles, you will lose that stuff. And they decided we're going to take this powerful, strong black man and we're going to weaken him. We're going to demasculate him. We're going to force him out of the home. And it worked like a charm. And the very same year they passed that law, they passed also the 1965 Immigration Reform Act. And Ted Kennedy said, in arguing for it, he said, if y'all afraid that these new immigrants are going to come in and change the ethno-racial makeup of the inner cities where we black folks live, he said, it's wrong. They're not going to do that. 50-some years later, what do we have? Boom, yeah, we ain't got no more South Central L.A. No more black neighborhood. You know what the biggest black neighborhood is in California?
Where?
You know what a new black neighborhood is, black community? Skid Row, downtown L.A. There are more black people concentrated down on Skid Row, from the hotel to the motel to the mission to the sidewalk than anywhere else in California.
Sad.
Black neighborhood.
This is sad.
All by design, gentlemen.
Yeah, by design. We got to get off that Democratic plantation, folks. Can you hear my voice? Please, no more Democrat. I don't care if you don't vote. Just don't stick with the Democrats. They have destroyed black America. They're guilty. They're guilty. And black politicians were right there with them, pushing it. I cannot believe Maxine Waters. This is what we're saying. This is what we're saying. President Trump is doing black folks a favor by getting rid of the illegal immigration. And do you see the response of all these black celebrities when the black people were going, when black folks were going to meet with Trump? And they were so, when, Steve Harvey was going to meet with Trump, Jim Brown was going to meet with Trump. These people, these black celebrities, got on the social media and talked about these black folks like dogs. Just because
I wrote an article about that in the Daily Caller in Washington, D.C. It opened up a lot of doors for me to speak on that issue, and I addressed that very issue that you just brought up. Hey, look at what James Brown says. James Brown says they get mad when they hear the truth. That's true. That's true. You ever been at a party? Remember the party? I can't speak for you, Kathleen. I don't know about the brothers, but I remember the day we been at the party, right? And the lights be down low, everybody in the corner making out, grinding, and slow music and carrying on, right? And somebody drunk come in and flip on the light. What's everybody holler? Turn out that light! What's wrong with you? That's the truth. We laying up in all this filth, doing all these things in the dark, and you, James Brown, and Demetrius Brown, and others come along, we flip the light on, they yell at us, turn that light out.
Yeah, we're trying to be transparent. We're trying to provide a disinfectant. And they're mad. D.L. Hughley was actually crying. That just shows you how emotional. This is why I'm thinking that they believe what they're saying. Because Van Jones was actually, he looked like he was getting ready to have tears.
Oh man! Oh, they have talked themselves into believing a lie. Hey, look what Demetrius says. Demetrius says, and we are due reparations. Our people are collectively owed tens of trillions of dollars. And then that was James Brown. Then Demetrius Brown says, MLK said he led us into a burning house. And then Demetrius Brown comes back with, I have been researching reparations. Dr. Claude Anderson said reparations can come in come in the form of subsidies, land grants, and also trade barriers to protect black industries. And then James Brown agreed with Demetrius. He says, yep. But let me tell y'all something. If you go to the mall and you leave your jacket behind with your name in it, and it's in lost and found, you go up to lost and found and say, hey, man, that's my jacket right there. They say, what's your name? My name is Demetrius Brown. And they say, okay, that's it. Your name is on it. Do you have some ID, Mr. Brown, that I can see? No, I have my wallet with me. Well, you know, Mr. Brown, I just cannot let this until you show me some ID. So then Demetrius got to go all the way home, get his ID, come get his jacket back. Everything that belongs to us is in the Constitution. The 14th Amendment is our key. That's our ID. We are not going to get nothing in this country unless we come to realize who we are. Don't go up there telling this man about black power, black economics. Don't go up there talking about I'm an Afrocentralist. You go say I'm a United States citizen based on the Constitution, the 14th Amendment, the Civil Rights Act of 1866. They got to talk to you. This Saturday, I'm teaching at a reparations rally. Mr. John Peoples, the reparations living symbol here in L.A., he's been conducting reparations rallies at his various churches. And so they asked me to kind of teach on these things. So this Saturday, and when I get the exact address, I'll send it to you. And somehow if you can get it to Demetrius and James, they can come too.
No, they're not. They're not in Los Angeles. They're not in Los Angeles.
Well, they should get over here then.
You say what?
They should catch a plane and get over here.
Well, buy them a ticket and they will.
Okay, I will. I'll buy y'all a ticket too. No.
Hey, but the thing.
No, but anyway, I'll be teaching on that this Saturday. Explain to people, here's what you want. Here is the currency by which you get it. That's what we've been missing. We don't know the currency. That's why I keep focusing back on the 14th Amendment.
What is so amazing to me is, like I mentioned before, I know Van Jones has a law degree. Obama has a law degree. Angela Rye has a law degree. And they don't know about the 14th Amendment? They don't know this?
They know. They claim to be civil rights lawyers. They know. What they're gambling on is we don't know. Obama, I got to give it to him. Boy, he pulled a fast one on him after he became president in February 2009. He invited the CBC to come down to the White House to spend a day with him to have an honest conversation about what we're going to do about black folks. Because he admit, I ain't one of y'all. I didn't come on a slave ship. I was brought by white folks. I do not know you. I learned you when I went to Chicago, and I realized y'all ain't shit. Don't excuse my language. Y'all ain't nothing. You ain't got no plan. You ain't got no organization. You ain't got no leadership. Y'all just scattered. Y'all ain't nobody. That's why Obama talks to us the way he talks to us. He talks down to us. He don't talk down to illegal aliens or Spaniards or gays or Jews, but he always talks down to us. So he said, y'all come on down and talk with me. I'm being honest. I don't know y'all. I don't know nothing about you, not really. So y'all come and show me what to do. I got the power. Did you know only 3 people from the CBC went down to see him? You know why the others said they didn't want to go? Because it was a snowstorm that day. Nah, if I was a congressperson and the president called me down to spend a day with him on this issue, I would have called the police department. They have the plow trucks to plow me away to the White House. He could have did it. But you know why they didn't go? Because they knew Barack Obama had the whole card. Because they ain't got no plan. They can't tell Barack Obama what to do if you paid them. That's why he could pull that off like that. And so the next 7 years, he just screwed us. Just did us. Had the nerve to say to us, if y'all don't vote for my girl Hillary, I will take it as a personal insult to my legacy.
I know. Can you believe that? I mean, but that, I think when he said that, that triggered a lot of black folks. Even black, that triggered a lot of black folks, because let me tell you, a lot of black folks may not like Trump, but they equally don't like Hillary because of the 1994 crime bill, because of Haiti. At least they have some black. That's why she lost. Okay?
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, this whole Russian thing, how did the Russians influence black folks not to get out and vote?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
They keep saying that the Russians influenced the election. How did the Russians influence black folks not to vote?
No way, no way. Again,
and that's why she lost.
That's why she lost.
Yeah.
Black folks didn't come out.
Not the way they did for Obama.
But see, I believe, though, some people have asked me, they say, well, Ted, why don't your people just walk away from Democrats? You admit that they're no good for you. Maxine Waters admits it. Danny Davis admits it. They all know that. And I said to them, look, if you're in a shipwreck and you're hanging on to a wooden beam, you're out in the middle of the ocean, and that wooden beam is giving you splinters all up under your arm. I said, now, if somebody came along the boat and said, hey, man, let go of that wooden beam, are you going to let go of it? No way, it's all you got. But somebody said, hey, man, take this rope and this hook, I'll pull you in. You're going to let go of that beam. We have not provided a boat of escape for our people. The day that we get this thing going, Kathleen, Demetrius, and James, and others, the day we begin to come together, that's when black folks going to leave the plantation in droves.
Well, so the thing of it is, but so
deal with it.
Oh, so in other words, what you're saying is that even though Trump had a New Deal plan for Black America, and he reached out to us consistently, most black folks still don't trust Trump. Is that what you're saying?
No, they don't trust him yet. They don't trust him. I don't trust him yet, frankly. I really don't. I'm gonna work with him. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get him to do the right thing, but I'm not gonna trust Trump to save us because he can't. He don't know how. He don't know how. And that's okay. I'm not knocking him. That's for us to come up with. The sooner we come up with that ship, that's when they coming.
Yeah, but the fact.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but the fact that he's doing something with illegal immigration benefits Black America. We can't deny that.
I'm sorry. Say it again, please.
The fact that he's doing something about illegal immigration benefits Black America.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I missed that. My apologies.
Okay.
Somebody was in the office disturbing me.
Okay. The fact that Trump is doing something against illegal immigration benefits Black America.
Absolutely. I had brothers coming to me, back during the campaign, whispering in my ear, knowing I was a Republican, not a Republican Party member, but a Republican in belief. He said, he whispered, hey, Ted, and man, we vote for Trump. I said, why are you going to do something like that? He said, all these illegal aliens, man, he the only one standing up for us. Ain't nobody standing up for us but Trump. Okay? That's why when he came out that day, like I said, I could care less about Donald Trump. When he said, I'm going to build a wall, I'm going to end illegal immigration, he spoke code to me. He said, black people, I see your condition. I know why you're that way. And by the way, the reason why I'm building that wall to stop illegal immigration, because illegal immigration hurts you black people worse than anybody else in the country. That's why they hate Trump, y'all. They don't hate Trump because of his misogynist and all that bull they be talking. They hate Trump because he decided to defend us.
Right, so that's why. So why don't you trust him if he explicitly said that?
A person can tell you anything, but if, like Reagan say, what was it? Something can verify, approve, but verify. He says these things, and I'm for that, which draws me to him. But I've got to be the Frederick Douglass. We got to be the Frederick Douglass to Abraham Lincoln. We got to prod him to the emancipation. He got to be educated. And the peoples around him right now, they can't. The blacks can't tell that man nothing. What are you going to tell him? They ain't got nothing to say. Otherwise, they would have been doing it a long time ago. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Demetrius and them talking again. And they've got a new cat. Let me see. Demetrius said, yeah, I'm in Florida, man. So he won't be coming out. And he said, that's like $500. You right, Demetrius. Then he says, can reparations be given on a state level? Absolutely. That comes from Carell McDonald. Absolutely, my brother. Definitely on the state, corporate level, church level, all kind of levels. Yeah, that was. He's talking about Hillary Clinton now. Demetrius comes on. Yeah, that was some bitch shit.
Oh, you guys come on with the filthy mouth talk.
Yeah, you guys gotta watch that. And then Demetrius come back with, absolutely, Carell, they must know each other. And then Demetrius come back with, no permanent friends, no permanent enemy, just permanent interest. Bob Johnson, he's quoting. He's true about that. It's all about interest, isn't it? Then he says, that's number 7 on Trump's New Deal for Black America, okay? And then he says, James Brown comes back and says, Trump has actually started that at rallies. He's right. Absolutely. That's why they hate him, James. That's why they hate Trump, James. Because Trump stood for the living national treasure and the person of black people who are descendants of chattel slaves upon whose ancestors' back this nation of immigrants is built, and they know it. The day that we stand up off our back, they go.
Well, how can we get to them? Because listen, I don't know if Dr. Ben Carson has got his razor focus where it should be. His razor focus, I don't know if he's zeroed in on what he needs to be zeroed in on. I don't know, you know?
Dr. Carson, bless his heart, he's a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant man. We all should be proud of him and respect him for that. But dude ain't got a clue what's going on. You remember the second debate when Jake Tapper of MSNBC, whatever stations, was the moderator, and the issue of the 14th Amendment came up, and Donald Trump in the middle of the group, he banged his hand on the podium and said, the 14th Amendment is not for illegal aliens. My lawyers have assured me of that, and you're going to find out who it's really for. And then old Rand Paul, all the way at the end of the stage, almost off the stage, he said, I'll tell you what the 14th Amendment is for. He said the 14th Amendment is for black people and only black people. And then Jake Tapper said, oh, shoot, and he quickly pivoted away back to Trump or somebody. Ben Carson, standing right next to Trump, should have said, ladies and gentlemen, Rand Paul's right. That's my birth certificate, and I refuse to let anyone continue to rip off my people. There would have been a different campaign. But Ben Carson doesn't have a clue, poor baby.
He doesn't have a clue, huh? So now he's he runs the housing and urban development.
Yes. And James Brown says, yeah, Dr. Carson is a mixed bag of crazy cats. He's right about that. But you see, I have a strategy. And
but let me say this. Why would Trump give Ben Carson that position then? If he's crazy.
But Trump don't know no better. Trump don't know no better. Who else are you going to pick? Ben Carson's about the smartest out front black guy we got out there right now. I mean, he's not where we would like to see him, but he's smarter than everybody else, smarter than Jesse and them. He's smarter than Herman Cain and all them conservative Republicans. He's smarter than them. Look, ain't no black man got as far as Ben Carson running for president. He got pretty. He got a pretty. I mean, Jesse Jackson did pretty good when he ran. He got all the way to the convention. But what I'm saying about Carson, he just had a whole nother persona about him. But the man does not have a clue about the people he grew up around. And that's okay because he was learning, getting an education. He's done well. But the next time I come on, yeah, you're right, James Brown. You're right. James Brown said he should be Surgeon General. No doubt, I agree with that. He don't know nothing about no poor people in housing. He's about as bad off as Dr. King when it comes to that.
Well, I mean, he grew up. Ben Carson didn't grow up like Martin Luther King. Ben Carson grew up poor in Detroit.
But you know what, though? I knew black kids in my neighborhood, too, who didn't know what was going on around them because they was focused on their learning, focused on them. And I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying he just didn't know, and I appreciate that. But see, next time I come on, I want to share with y'all my plan to end homelessness beginning here in Los Angeles. And see, the plan is already on the shelf of HUD. And I'm trying to find a way to get to Mr. Carson and crew, because what I want the president to do is make me a special envoy to deal specifically with street, hardcore, chronic homelessness across the country. I got an incredible plan. If y'all want to start looking at it, go to the Dome, D-O-M-E, Village, V-I-L-L-A-G-E, domevillage.us, domevillage.us. And on your left-hand side of the page, you'll see the plan. On the other side of the page, you'll see the endorsement of very powerful political law enforcement people who looked at my plan and said, this is right on. So I want to share that with y'all because it'll turn to an economic development, not just for the homeless, but it'll be like an explosion from the bottom up. And what's got to happen, I've got to find a way to get in with Mr. Carson and with the president that they can make me that envoy. And look, James Brown says James Brown said, what Demetrius said, yeah, Ted, he's one of the smarter black folks out there. See, he knows. The guy's smart, no question about that. He just don't know about his own people. And then Demetrius again said, I agree too. And James Brown said, that's wonderful. I guess he's talking about the fact that we have a plan to end homelessness beginning right here in Los Angeles and affect all black people across the country.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I got to go. Because
okay.
I got to go because I gotta do some study and some homework because I got to be on the radio tomorrow morning. I got to calm down so I don't sound like this on those white folks station tomorrow.
Okay.
I want to be. We should get Demetrius and James and Carl to call into the show tomorrow.
Yeah,
and you.
But Ted, I appreciate you. You were on for an hour and a half, hour and 30 minutes. That's a fantastic thing. You dispersed a lot of good information. I'm sure people will be intrigued by a lot of things that you said, and so I appreciate you calling in. Okay.
Y'all ain't heard nothing yet. That's just the surface stuff. You're gonna be amazed at what's available to us as a chattel slave descendants. Stop calling yourself black as much as possible, Negro, colored. You are a chattel slave descendant, which means that you have a special power that the gays, the Hispanics, the minority, the white businesswomen, nobody can get on the ship with us. It's a long term, but it clears up the atmosphere. And we'll share some more. And I just want to thank you, Kathleen, for your creativity and what you're doing, my sister. I'm so glad to have met you.
Okay, it sounds wonderful. It's a pleasure to have met you, and let's make it happen, okay?
Yes, but Demetrius, hey, look, guys, I'm going to give Kathleen a number. Every Monday night, we have a study on the 14th Amendment for people from Chicago, Detroit, Buffalo, New York City, San Diego, Phoenix, and we need to get more people from around the country because we're building a national network on this issue of our citizenship rights so that when Mr. Trump finally says to me, okay, let's talk, I want to say, sir, we already have a body politic nationwide. We're all on the same page about our super citizenship, and we're ready. We're ready to make things happen. And he will say, you're hired. You got to remember, he's thinking apprentice. He's not looking to give us nothing. He's looking for us to give him something. Something, as somebody said earlier, it's about interest. He has an interest, and he has an interest in us, but we got to show him how to do it. All right? So I would sure enjoy y'all coming in on Monday nights, 7:30 West Coast time, and that would be, 10:30 East Coast time.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, that's fantastic, Ted. I'll give him the number, and I appreciate you reading the information in the chat room because, hey, I can't see it when I answer Skype. I mean, I probably can, but I just haven't figured it out. Do you know what I mean?
I kind of like doing this, Kathleen. Actually, I'll work with you on this, and I'll be your live chat.
My sidekick, huh?
So all these brothers can come in, and then they say, you know what, man, we found the station, man. It's pretty hip. Come on in. They'll start. Won't y'all? Hey, James, Demetrius, and Kyle, won't y'all spread the word and get some of the other folks to come in? Something like this. Come on, say something, brothers. Give me a treat. Keep it chat. Is that right? If you can bring more people here, right? They say, okay. They say, look, let me see. Website. I don't use the word. I don't use. Oh, okay. He says, I have bookmarked both Mr. Hayes. I don't use the word black often. I like saying melanin. A website. He says, James Brown says he's in New York City, Big Apple. James Brown says, thank you, Mr. Hayes. Thank you, Ms. Hayes. James Brown will do. Yes, sir. By the way, you guys, go to tedhayes.us. Tedhayes.us. That's my website. You'll learn a lot of stuff there, too. Bless y'all, Kathleen. Love y'all.
Okay, thank you, Ted.
Abalula.
Good night. Okay, so what's the story? Can you guys still hear me? Now what am I going to do? Okay. I don't know if I did the right thing. I can't tell. Hold on a second. I need to go back to... Okay, yeah. Now I'm back. Oh, see, now I can see you guys in the chat room. Now I see you guys in the chat room. Yep, yes, uh-huh. So, wasn't that fantastic? We've gone an hour and a half. Hey, tell me on the chat room, do any of you guys want to call in and say something? Or should we close out? What do you think? What did I discuss? Should I give out the call-in number? If I'll give out the call-in number just in case any of you guys want to call in and say a few things. It's 323. Wait, let me look. 323-522. Where did I write it? Hold on a second. Hold on. Oh, 323-522-5899. If any of you guys want to call in, I'll stay on a while. What else do I want to mention? Let's see. I was talking about the topic of today's show is President Trump, you were right. Democrats, black politicians, including black talking heads and illegal immigration, have destroyed black America. That was my topic today. So, and then I talked about the black talking heads. We talked about the 14th Amendment. We talked about Van Jones and Angela Rye and Michael Eric Dyson, how they're leading astray black America every night on prime time. So I think you guys don't have anything to say. It was a great broadcast. Thank you, James. I can't think of what to say, Demetrius says. Well, thank you guys for listening. We went an hour and a half, so I think I'm going to close out. What do you guys say? Yeah. See you guys on Facebook. Thanks for listening to the Kathleen Wells Show. It's a delight to be able to have this kind of dynamic interaction. I enjoy it. I love having my radio show. And, this show is here for you guys. It's here so that we can gain more information so that we can start talking about things that matter. Because what is important to black America is not in the mainstream media. We know that for sure. So I'm going to close out now. Good night. This is the Kathleen Wells Show. We were listening to Ted Hayes, and he's fantastic. He's very entertaining, right? Isn't Ted Hayes entertaining? Thank you, guys. Good night.